gang, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming back. And if you're exactly, you have made the best decision of your life. So today, finally, after I don't know how long, I'm finally filming part 2 of my upgrading video. And honestly, life has been lifing, right? Life has been lifing, moving, school, a whole lot of things has just been keeping me really busy. But you know what, I'm finally filming this video. A lot of people have been requesting part 2 of that video. I'll put it up here. If you have not watched it, please do go watch it. So a lot of people have been requesting part 2 or more the logistics behind upgrading. I just want to put out a disclaimer that the information I'm about to give you guys is mainly based on my experience and the experience of the people who are around me. I do not know every single thing about upgrading, and also I don't have all the information. So if you feel like I have not answered some of the questions you guys have been commenting in that video, then please do go ahead, do some research on some of the things that you feel like I did not touch on, because like I said, I don't have all the information, and I feel like everybody's going to go through a different journey and they're going to experience different things. What I experienced was mainly based on my journey and the things that I went through. Anyways, without any further ado, let's get straight into this video. So I did take down a few notes. If you see me looking down, it's because I'm referring back to these notes. And yeah, so the first thing I want to talk about is, obviously, if you're seeing this video, chances are you already are in the process of upgrading. Either you have found a school, a college, or you're self-studying to upgrade your marks. The first thing I want to say is that you don't necessarily have to upgrade your marks under a certain institution. I did say in my previous video that you can actually go back to the high school that you were at. That high school is basically, or the school that you matriculated at, can basically re-register your exam number, and you can rewrite your either June or November exams at the school that you went to. I personally did not want to do that because with that option, it is more on the self-study end, and my family was very discouraged by that. We decided that I need to attend classes like I would if I was still in high school. So basically attend classes on a daily basis and whatnot. So upgrading with a college or a school or like a certain institution is a bit better in that sense, because you do get to attend classes on a daily basis, or maybe if not daily, but you do get to attend classes somewhere somehow. Unlike upgrading on your own, you basically are relying solely on the internet and whatever help you can access to understand the work better. The first thing you basically do, now I'm going in terms of the logistics, right? I'm basically breaking it down as to how it kind of works. So the first thing you basically do is you register to rewrite, whether you register at a school or you register at a college or you register at the Department of Education. And when you register at the Department of Education, you will be doing self-studying, because they do not offer classes or whatever, but maybe there could be some people who know of a place where they do extra classes. But there are high schools that actually offer Saturday classes to the public and to the children who go to that school. And it's kind of hard to find those kind of schools, but I guess this is where research comes in. Ask around your area if there are schools that are open to Saturday schools for the public. So once you have registered, you either get a new exam number. Most of the time they do give you a new exam number, or you keep your old exam number. I got a new exam number. I got 2 new exam numbers, because the first one was for maths and accounting at the college I was upgrading at, and then the second one was for life science at I registered at a local high school in my area. So that's what I did. So by the time you're seeing this, chances are applications for upgrading have already closed because they do open quite early in the year. Most schools or most places, even the Department of Education, close around end of March, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, I really hope if you're watching this video you have registered to upgrade. All right, as I was saying, once you have registered, you will receive an exam number. Sometimes if you're registered under a school, a college, or an institution that caters for upgrading students, you will actually only receive your exam number towards the end of the year, depending on when you're writing. There are some people who write in June when they are upgrading their marks, and there are some people who write in November. So yeah, like I was saying, I upgraded in November. Honestly, best decision I've made because it gave me a lot more time, because it was only around June. It was only around June when I started actually grasping everything and starting to prepare actively for an exam. Yeah. Throughout the year, you need to basically treat yourself or treat everything as though you're in matric. I feel like that helps so much, because if you basically go on with that mindset of saying that, oh no, but I'm only writing in June or I'm only writing in November, you kind of deprive yourself from the time that, or the second chance that you're actually given. So for example, what I did was throughout the whole year, and the benefit is that the school that I went to was also doing that. They were assessing us every 2 months or something like that. They were assessing us on a regular basis. So if you are self-studying, please do assess yourself as well on a regular basis. If maybe you can access papers or exams or some kind of assessments that are written by the current matriculants, please use that as a tool to see and to gauge as to where you are with your progress in terms of understanding the work. So we had regular assessments, and that kind of really did prepare me for the end year exam, because we wrote in April, we wrote in June, July, we wrote again in September, October, and then we wrote in November. So that constant assessment kind of made me see, okay, I need to focus on this area, I need to do this, I need to do that. So it kind of helped me. So I really strongly advise that if you are currently upgrading, please don't leave your assessments to the last period. Assess yourself regularly, time yourself when you're doing exam question papers or doing your homework. If you're, for example, with maths, well, not everybody knows, but I'm just telling you what I did. So for example, with maths, what I knew was question 1 was solve for x. I know that, okay, if question 1 counts for 25 marks, I need to spend at least 10 to 12 minutes on this question. That's the kind of thing you need to kind of do, because it kind of prepares you for the tricky questions in the exam paper that you need to spend more time at, you understand? So I basically did that on a regular basis, and it really helped. I'm not gonna lie, it really helped. So yeah, you need to spend majority of your time looking at exam question papers. And I say this because textbook exercises and additional exercises they may give you in terms of like, as in like, if it's homework or whatever, they good, they kind of give you that understanding you need, but the questions they ask in homework activities and the questions you're going to be getting at the end of the year in the exam paper are two different things, because most of the time the questions you get in an exam paper are trickier, they're more complex, and the English is Englishing. So I would rather advise people to focus on the exam papers, the question papers, instead of focusing on like homework. Do your homework. I'm not saying don't do it. Do the activities that they give you if you are at an institution or a school or a college or whatever. Give those activities your attention, but don't solely focus on that throughout the whole year, and then it's only at the end of the year that you focus on exam papers, because I feel like the more you do exam papers, the more prepared you are. Once you start doing exam papers often, you will notice a pattern in the repetition of questions, or they're not the same, but you will gauge that, okay, question 1 is usually solve for X, question 2 is this, question 3 is this. You understand? You notice that pattern, and I did that a lot. I was like, okay, I know that I'm gonna start with this question because I know that this question is a topic that I do not struggle with. For example, with maths, question 1 is always going to be solve for X. You can go argue with your ancestors. I'm telling you, question 1 is always going to be solve for X. I don't remember what question 2 is, but and then the last question is always going to be probability. You understand? The more you revise exam papers, the more you will see that there's a repetition in how they set these papers. So it will actually prepare you to tackle these questions. You will be prepared, trust me, you will be prepared. There's so many papers you can find on the internet. You can find, basically start from 2016 to the current or the most recent papers. Start from 2016 to the most recent papers and go from June prelim final, June prelim final, June prelim final. Every year do June prelim final all the time. Yes, the final is more important than the June and the prelim, but then the June and the prelim prepares you for the most trickiest questions you may find in the final paper. So all I'm saying is, don't be caught off guard. Prepare as much as you can. And for me, that is what's going to make the difference, is that you are prepared. You walk into that exam room much more prepared than you were the previous year. Me, actually, in matric, I was struggling with paper 2 so much. Paper 2 was just, it was killing me. And then when I was upgrading, it was probably the most easiest paper I wrote because I was flowing through it. And that's just to show that a lot can change when you're upgrading. Your mindset will definitely change about certain topics. I used to hate calculus. I used to really hate calculus, but when I was upgrading, I found it less tricky because I actually prepared. So I used past exam question papers to prepare myself. I used a lot of YouTube. And trust me, you will find a lot of videos on YouTube that will explain certain concepts to you a lot simpler than the teachers are explaining or whatever. So do try YouTube. And then another app that I absolutely love, that helped me prepare, was this app called Don't Fail. I will put the icon of the app here, and I will put the link to download the app in the description box. This is not a sponsored video. This is not a sponsored video. Don't Fail did not sponsor this video, okay? I'm just telling you guys about this app because it really did help me. So this is a mobile app. I'm not sure if you can download it on your PC, but yeah, this is a mobile app. You basically can access exam papers from 2018, I think. I'm not sure if there is 2016 papers or 2017, but let's just say you can access exam papers from 2018, paper 1 and paper 2 of whatever subject. Most subjects are there. You can access it in English and Afrikaans. You can download the paper and download the memo, which is something that I really liked because it was hard finding the memo of certain question papers. But that app has the answer, it has the question paper, the answer sheets, and the memo, and it has the formula sheets, guys. It has formula sheets on that, so please do check it out. That app really did help me a lot. Then there are a couple of websites where you can go to access question papers or exam papers rather, like the Stithians website. That website also has a lot of papers. I will put the website in the description box. That website, guys, it will save you a lot of time because you can also download the exam papers or and to use them at a later stage. Of course you can go overboard, but I really didn't want to overwhelm myself. I just felt like, you know what, let me just keep it simple, because in matric, I'm not gonna lie, I was this, I was that. There was just a lot going on. I had so many textbooks, I had so many papers. A lot of them were overwhelming me, and most of the time you don't even use half of these things because you don't have time. So that's why I would say keep it simple. 2 resources, maybe 3, that will help you prepare for your exams. I think that is enough. For me, keep it simple. Don't stress yourself. You don't want to find yourself in a space that you're overwhelmed and you don't know what to do, you don't know where to start. So just keep it simple. Don't go overboard. Yeah. But you can obviously find any resources that you feel like will help you more than the ones that I just said. Like I said, just keep it simple and you're going to be fine. You're going to be fine. Trust me, you're going to be fine. And then now it is for the part that I did not like at all when it came to upgrading my marks. Now it is time for you to apply to university. Girl, it was not easy. Hey, it was not easy. Guys, I was struggling half of the time. So basically, you obviously have to apply as soon as you can. Apply when these universities open their application. Obviously, you need to do your research, and this is where research comes in the most. Out of all the things that I've listed, research comes in here the most. This is where you need to do your research because, 1, certain universities have an option to state that you're upgrading. Universities don't. So that's why I'm saying you need to do your research. There are certain universities that I applied to when I was in matric that I had to reapply to when I was upgrading. And some of those universities, you do have the option to state that you're upgrading. Some of them don't have that option. So you need to basically restart a new application as though you never applied to that university. There are universities that allow for you to modify an application, as in you access your old application, you change the year in which you want to study, and you change your study options. So if you have not applied to a certain university last year and you are applying for the first time this year, you are going to have to use your old matric results. You have to use the results that you have on hand and not your March results, because those they don't hold weight when it comes to these universities. So if you have not applied to a certain university last year and you're applying for the first time, this is what you're going to do. You're going to obviously go in, write your ID, your name, all those kind of things. And then when it's time for you to submit your marks, you're going to obviously state that you matriculated in 2021, and then that's when the system will pick up that, oh, this person is upgrading. You put in all the marks you got on your statement of results when the results came out. When did the results come? This year, yes. You basically put the marks that you got on your statement, put those marks in, and then if you do have the option to state that you're upgrading, state that you're upgrading. If you don't have the option to state that you're upgrading, you either call the university and inquire as to what you're supposed to do now that you are upgrading but you have submitted an application. And if they don't answer, then you email. All I'm trying to say is you gotta do what you gotta do. You will call those people until they answer, email those people until they answer. I promise you, this is what I did. So what you can do is you can either call the faculty at which you applied at. For example, if you applied for teaching, you will call humanities. Go on the website of that particular university. Go to their undergraduate option. I'm not sure what it's called, but go to undergraduate and then go to faculties. Under faculties, you will see there are different faculties. There's engineering, there's law. The faculties at which you apply at, there is a contact number that you can find. The contact number will usually tell you if this is regarding undergraduate admission or is it regarding postgraduate admission. So obviously you're gonna call the undergraduate admissions office, right? Call the undergraduate admission office and tell them your problem. Those people know best. They will tell you what to do. And I feel like it's better if you call the universities instead of wanting to Google every answer. Call the universities instead, because they will give you the exact information you need to basically go about your application. So yeah, so there are some universities that will ask for you to provide proof of upgrading. So they will either say an email from the actual school that you're upgrading at, or they will ask for a letter. So what you can do is, if you're upgrading at a school, you can ask the administrative people at the school to draft a letter for you that you can send to these universities to say that you're upgrading. So with the school that I went to, they basically gave us a report after every assessment. So for example, after our assessments in April, our assessments in June, and our assessments in September, October, they gave us a report. So basically that was proof that I submitted. So I'm not sure if all schools do that, but if they don't, please do ask them to draft a letter for you to state that, hey, this is the student is upgrading here. Then you send that letter to the universities, because some of these universities, they be hard, these universities really just want to frustrate us. But all I'm saying is, please do all that you can to avoid any complications, especially when the results come out. Then some of these universities will also require your mid-year results, especially if you're writing at the end of the year. So you have to either submit that. I'm not sure about the people who are writing in June, because I did not write in June. But if you're writing in November, some universities will require your mid-year results. Make sure that you're always checking your email so that you can be updated. If they send you an email and they say please send in ABCD, you're able to send it as soon as you can, so that you don't face any challenges, you see. So just this year, you can't be relaxed. I promise you, like, you really cannot be relaxed. When you're upgrading, you cannot be relaxed. You see, in matric, when it came to application process, I was just like, oh, let me apply, submit, submit. It was easy when you're in matric ways. That's what you have to do. You want to go to university, do what you got to do. Now, obviously, it is time for you to have confidence in yourself. When you are approaching your exam dates, you need to be confident. Guys, I'm not going to lie. Confidence is really going to take you far in life. Somebody asked me in the previous video that were the exams I wrote when I was upgrading harder than the ones I wrote in matric. To be quite honest, the exams I wrote when I was upgrading were probably the same level of difficulty than the ones I wrote in matric. The only difference is I was more prepared when I was upgrading. So in matric, I would probably say, oh no, the ones that I wrote in matric were harder than the ones that I wrote last year, because in matric I wasn't as prepared as I was when I was upgrading. So I can't really say in matric it's harder or when you're upgrading it's harder. I don't think there is any difference, because you're basically writing about the same work. I wrote about calculus in matric and I still wrote about calculus when I was upgrading. The work is the same. I think what needs to change is your level of preparedness. You need to be more prepared. You need to, like I was saying in my previous video, you need to realize that there are certain things that I was doing in matric that clearly did not work for me. So now I need to change those things and develop a different strategy that will actually work for me now. So that's what I did. I had to first identify, what did I do wrong when I was in matric? How did this help me, or how did it not help me? You need to identify what is it that you did, and then once you see, okay, did it work or did it not work, then you need to change according to how you study and how you are. I'm a visual learner and I like visualizing or seeing pictures or color, all those kind of things. So I knew that worked for me in matric, and I knew that it's still gonna work for me now. So that's something that I kept the same. But the things that I changed was doing question papers more frequently than I did when I was in matric. So you need to kind of develop a strategy that will work for you. Please don't watch videos that say this is how you can study. It's not really helpful, especially if you have not identified the kind of learner you are. You need to know the kind of learner you are before you actually even tackle any kind of task. Are you a visual learner? Are you a auditory learner? Are you know, those kind of learning styles? I think we did it in LO. But so for me, I feel like the best way in which I felt more confident was, one, putting in the work, obviously, because you can't say, oh no, I'm gonna be fine, but you didn't actually do the work. Knowing that I did all I could to prepare for this exam, I know that, okay, I went through all the work and I covered all my bases, especially with the things that I did not understand very well. The second thing I did was actually trusting in myself. I needed to trust myself and say, you know what, you did what you needed to do, now trust that you're going to do well. The positive self-talk really took me far last year. It really helped a lot. The positive self-talk was just, girl, it really, like, please, it helped and changed a lot of things. So positive self-talk will really also help. For me, prayer helped a lot. If you're a religious or spiritual person, you can pray about your worries, especially if you feel like you're an anxious person and you stress a lot. Pray about it. If you're not a spiritual person or a religious person, you can just journal, maybe just write down your feelings on a piece of paper and then let that be. Leave it on the paper, don't take it with you. Try find ways in which you can relieve your stress, you understand? In the morning of your exam, this is something that I should have known when I was a matric, but it's okay. The morning of your exam, firstly, do not open a book. Don't. I don't care if there's a topic that you did not cover the previous nights or the previous days or the previous weeks. Don't open a book, because sometimes you will read one sentence that will confuse you and you will forget everything that you learned and you only focus on that one sentence that has confused you. So that's why I would not recommend somebody to open a book the morning of their exam. Secondly, do not sit in groups. Some people, it helps sitting in groups, it distracts them from the stress. I personally do not want to do that. I am a social person, but the morning of an exam, I am alone, because why? I need to gather my thoughts. Don't sit with people, because then they're going to be like, yo, Anna, that's question, how do you do it? And then you see, it's like opening a book. When you sit with people, it's like opening a book. Don't do it, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. Don't be extreme. Now don't be trying things that you've never tried before. Don't be extreme. And I would really advise that maybe a month before your exams, you start treating it as though you are writing an exam. Obviously, you need to find things that work for you. Like I've been saying throughout the whole video, find things that work for you, but I'm just giving you guys examples of some of the things that worked for me. Just trust yourself. Trust yourself. Trust yourself. If there's one thing I can always say, please refer to my previous video, but one thing I can say, just trust the process. You are exactly where you need to be. You are not put in that position for nothing. You will need to learn something out of this whole journey, because it is not by your own will. If it was by your own will, you would be in university, right? Exactly. It's not by your own will. You need to be there. Wherever you are, that's where you need to be. And you will be okay. I really wish that we could stop associating upgrading and not amounting to anything or being a failure in life. You are not a failure just because you upgraded. Oh yes, there's another thing that somebody asked me on Instagram, and I really wanted to touch on it in this video. So if maybe you have gotten good marks in your matric results, but you were not quite satisfied with those marks and now you want to upgrade to C or to improve those marks, unfortunately, if it does happen that you do drop, they are only going to consider your recent marks. So once you receive a new exam number, or once you re-register your exam number and you sit down and write that exam, you basically forfeit your old marks and they will only take what is most recent. So for example, if you upgrade your maths and you got a 50, but now after you have upgraded and now you're on a 45, they are going to take that 45. They're not going to consider the 50 anymore, because they are going to take what is most recent and you basically forfeit those marks. So if you feel like the chances of you increasing in a certain subject are not that high, please do play it safe. You don't want to find yourself in a predicament. Sometimes you just need to be realistic. I know it is good to be hopeful and say, no, but I will work, I will increase and whatnot. Just be realistic. Ask yourself, will I really increase? So that is something that you need to consider, because for me, physics, I was like, you know what, let me not upgrade this subject, because chances are The last thing I'm going to be touching on is once you have received your results the following year. So obviously if you're upgrading this year, your results are going to come out in January of the following year, which is next year. Your results are going to come out with the matriculants who are currently writing matric now. So now the most important thing is this: once your results have come out, so the universities aren't always going to receive your upgraded results immediately. With me, they only received my maths and accounting, and they did not receive my life science. And inquire if they have received your upgraded marks. So once the results come out on the day, start calling, start sending emails. You need to be on your toes. So basically, when my results came out, I started calling, started emailing, and with me is that I had to first go to the IEB and ask them to combine my results, because I had 3 matric certificates. If you have one exam number from matric and another one with the one that you're upgrading with, you will only have 2, but with me I had 3. So I first had to call the institutions and ask them, did they receive my results? And then they're telling me that no, they only received 1, which is maths and accounting. They didn't receive my life science. So then I was like, oh my gosh, what do I do? So then I go to the Department of Education, the government institution, right? I go to the Department of Education and then I ask them, hey, this is my situation. I tell them that I was upgrading, I have 3 matric certificates, what do I do? Then they said, because the IEB is able to access government documents, but government cannot access IEB documents, I need to go to the IEB. So then I went to the IEB. At IEB, they told me that I need to I gave them all three of my matric certificates, not matric certificates, but I gave them all 3 of my statement of results. Yes, that's what it's called. I gave them all 3 of my statement of results, and then they combined it for me, and they basically stated that in matric, this is where I upgraded. Then they put 2020, and then they said I upgraded life science at this institution, and then I upgraded maths and accounting at this institution. So they basically broke it down so that the university can see that this is actually legit and this child is not a scam artist, you understand? So I would advise that you do combine your results, but that's only because it makes your life easier too, so that if the universities ask that you submit your newly upgraded marks, you know that you just submit 1 certificate. Because when I kept on emailing them and all that, I was attaching 3 different things and it was just a lot of work. So that's why I just went over to the IEB and they combined my statement of results, and then I got 1 statement of results, and then it showed that I have a new endorsement. So basically an endorsement is the type of pass you get on your matric certificate. So obviously we have bachelor, admission to bachelor degree, which is the highest one. Then we have admission to diploma, and then we have admission to higher certificate, and then after that, what is it? I'm not sure, but yeah, basically those are the things you will see even on your statement of results, what admission you got. So I moved from a diploma to a bachelor's, and with that thing that they combined at the IEB, it stated that I have moved from diploma to bachelor's, because the universities were basically giving me a hard time because they only had received my maths and accounting, and they were like, no, we did receive your upgraded results, but with these results you still have a diploma. I'm like, no baby, I don't. I was like, do you know who I am? Do you know? Obviously I didn't say that, but I was so mad because 3 universities rejected me because of that, and I couldn't even have the opportunity to submit my new results. They rejected me on the spot because I was like, guys, but you have not even received all my results yet. How can you reject me? Because I am going to qualify for this thing. If you could just let me submit all my results. So like I said, if you are able to combine your results, please do combine them. It will make your life a lot easier, because then at least the universities will make a decision based on all your results and not just either your matric results or your upgraded results. Because most of the time the system, what it does is if now there is a new if now there are new results attached to your ID number, they basically forfeit the old ones and then take the new ones, and chances are you're only upgrading like 1 or 2 or 3 subjects. Obviously you can't have a pass ka di subjects they 3. That's what they also kept on telling me. They're like, no, we only have 2 subjects here, so how are you expecting us to take you as a student at this university if you only have 2 subjects? You didn't even complete matric fully. I'm like, no baby, I upgraded 2 subjects. That does not mean I wrote 2 subjects. Guys, the process is very tedious. The process is very tedious. You are going to cry. At some point you are going to cry. At some point you're going to be frustrated, you're going to be stressed, you're going to think that maybe I'm not going to go to university. There are a lot of things that you're just going to be going through, but you need to hold it down. You need to just have that drive that, you know what, I just went through a year of upgrading, and I did not go through a year of upgrading for nothing. I went through it because why? If you are able to go to the university of interest, like if you really want to go to UCT, for example, and you're able to go to UCT, go, because over the phone and via email, sometimes they take time to answer, sometimes they just don't even answer, sometimes they just ignore your emails or your calls, sometimes it even goes to voicemail, or your email goes straight to spam, and then they just give you an automated response. If you're able to go to the university that you want to go to, please do go there. Like, go there physically, because then they will see that you're actually serious. That's what I did. I was like waiting on the phone. I keep telling them the same thing over and over again. I keep telling them, guys, here are my upgraded results, here are my upgraded results. They were not listening. After I went to the IEB and got the actual combined certificate, I went there and I was like, yeah, here it is, updated on the system now. Obviously I didn't speak to them like that, but I was like, here it is now, please update it on the system so that you guys can actually make an informed decision upon my application. Don't just say, no, you do not qualify for this course because you have received 2 subjects. Duh. Anyways, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you found it helpful. I really do enjoy making these videos because I know for a fact that I'm going to be helping someone out there, even if it's just one person. I honestly did not receive a lot of information about upgrading before upgrading. I just found most of the information in the journey whilst I was upgrading, and especially the whole post upgrading logistics, like what's gonna happen once you receive your results. I do not know anything. Guys, please do your research as much as possible, because with research you're able to make more informed decisions, and you at least know what you're stepping into, right? So do your research. Make sure that you inquire with these universities. All of them. Start now, start as early as you possibly can, so that you can avoid any stresses when your results come out. Yeah guys, so that's it for today, and I will see you guys in my next video.